Assalamu alaikum and hello everyone. This is me, Fabha BusinessWali, and you're watching the Pallete podcast. And as you all know that in every podcast we have new guests with us, and today we have Mr. Gabrielle here with us in the studio, and he works at the NASA's Kennedy's Space Center. That's pretty cool, I would say. So let's just have a conversation with him and we will get to know more about his life journey, what he's doing right now. So firstly, thank you so much for having me for joining me in this podcast. It's really an honor for me to have you. And hi, how are you doing?
Well, first of all, good evening to you. Good morning from here in Florida. It's about 9 o'clock in the morning here, so I know it's evening time there. It's a pleasure and honor for me to be here to do this with you. I thank you for the opportunity. So I'm in Florida, which is near Cocoa Beach, which is near Kennedy Space Center, which is where NASA is, and it's just a magical place. It's just so much fun. I try to describe what it's like every day to be here in this environment. But the biggest thing I can try to describe is what happens here. I'm a civil structural type of engineer. So you do the same thing as an engineer. I equate it to like a nurse. If you're a nurse in Karachi, you're going to be a nurse in America. You do the same thing. It's a nurse is a nurse, the same with an engineer. But where you do it is what makes it really, really special. When you go into the Space Center, everywhere you look, there's pictures of stars, there's pictures of the solar system, of planets. Your mind is always going to these magical places. It's just so much fun. And then you see a big building, you see a ship being put together. It goes to a launch pad and it goes to these magical places. So your imagination becomes reality. It's just so much fun to share. And I really enjoy having the opportunity to share that with you.
That's really amazing. And the way you explained it, it makes it feel like more like imaginary or something. So, firstly, I would like to know for how long you have been in this industry, for how long you're working in it, and how's the experience so far, and what you're looking forward.
So I was an engineer for NASA at Kennedy Space Center for about 17 years, and every second was fun. I enjoyed every minute of it, and it's not so much what you do, but where you do it that makes it fun. But the objective for me is to enjoy everything. I take each day and I approach each day as a new adventure. And the challenge is never to do something. The challenge is to enjoy doing it. And the same with this interview. I approach this interview very seriously. I want to do the best I can to do the best I can to support you and help you. And I have a lot of pride in trying to do that. And do that with everything I do. It doesn't matter what it is. So for me, it's all about enjoying what I do and having fun and being helpful to others. I think that's really important.
Yep, I totally agree with you. The more we make our work fun, I guess more it's not like a burden to us anymore.
Yeah, I never
So
say work. I never say work. I say adventure, journey, opportunity, things like that. I never say work.
okay, that's great. I think I should just start saying that as well.
It's
So, my next question to you would be that what is like you are engineer, if I'm not wrong. So, have you ever been on space? Any like stuff like that? Any activity or any adventure you've been on?
I haven't been to space. I would love to go. If I had the opportunity to go, I would definitely go. But as a civil structural type of engineer, my job really is to deal with roads and bridges and buildings, the infrastructure of Kennedy Space Center. I don't get to build the ships. I don't get to go to space. I've been in the ships, which has been really, really fun. When I was in the ship, my mind was taking me to space. So it was a lot of fun. And all the launches, every time I see one, I think I'm on there going to space. It's just a lot of fun. But not everybody gets to go to space. Not everybody can be an astronaut. But together, we're all a team to me. It's really important. And it's the same in life. You want to learn to get along. They have this big AI function, and everybody is focused on AI. But I always remind everyone people are what's most important. The most important thing we can do is to get along, to support each other, to help each other out. When we learn to do that, everything else follows. But for me, it's always about getting along and learning to appreciate others.
Yes, you're right. So now my next question to you would be that you have spent your 17 years in this industry over here. So what type of evolutions you have seen over here? Like, back in like 17 years back, things would be a bit changed, and I'm sure that the things would be changed now. So what type of changes in maybe technology or in the systems you have seen so far?
Yeah, I think everything is evolving. Every day something new happens. Every day you learn something. I think this is the key. You never stop learning and you never think you have all the knowledge you need. And every time you think that, something comes up and you realize you don't. So to me, it's evolving every day. Every day of life is evolving. Speaking with you, I'm learning from you. I feel like I learn from everybody I come in contact with. 17 years ago, and actually for me, I've been away from the Space Center for about 10 years. 10 years ago, I quit my job. I started doing speaking, and really by accident. I never thought I would be a speaker, but I started doing speaking and I got more and more involved, and I started getting a lot of international exposure. And there wasn't enough hours in the day to have a job and to travel around the world. So one of the things really important for me, I had been doing speaking, and I had never charged schools any money. I had never asked for any money. I did it just for the joy of doing it and sharing fun things about life and what fun ways to look at life. And I didn't want to charge money. So when I was employed, I had the money to do that. And when I quit my job, I said, okay, can I still do this without charging money? I don't want to charge money. So I kind of looked at what I had saved and said, okay, if I manage this correctly, I can do that. So for the last 10 years, I've been traveling around the world. I've been to Pakistan now 3 times, and I've been to 18 countries total, and it's been awesome. It's just been the most amazing thing. And the most fun thing is to be with you. Right now, you're the most person in the world to me, most important, and hopefully we can share this and learn from each other.
Okay. And now I'm quite curious that, like the thing that you are doing right now, many children have this kind of dream that when we will grow up, we will visit space or work or like something like that. So when you were younger, when you were a kid, what profession was in your mind?
I only wanted two things growing up. I only wanted to go to the beach, and I only wanted to play sports. That's all I wanted to do. I didn't want to do anything else. I really, really struggled. I hated school. I really hated school. So I struggled a lot growing up, and I still love the beach and I still love sports. So, but I managed to get a good job in the process, and it was an adventure. It was a lot of fun, but I really, really struggled growing up. And when I speak with students, I understand the ones who struggle. They think, oh, because you're from NASA, or we want you to talk with all of the smart kids, But I said, I can't relate to the smart kids. I want to speak with the ones who are struggling, because that was me. And so I think that's important that I have that background. So I relate to everybody who struggles. What are you going to do when you grow up? My parents were always asking me, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? I'm going to the beach. No, you have to have a job. I'm going to play sports. No, you have to do something else. So I was fighting with my parents the whole time growing up. But yeah, a little bit different than most people think, but I had fun. I really had fun.
Okay, that's really amazing that you love beach and now you're working like in a space center. So it's really fascinating that you get to experience both the things. So my next question to you would be that what so far has been the most challenging part of your job?
To me, I'm kind of in a day-to-day adventure again. Each day is a challenge. It doesn't matter whether I'm at the Space Center or whether I'm traveling. Next week, I'm traveling to Brazil. I'm going to be in Brazil for 30 days just speaking at schools. So every day is a new adventure to me. Every day is a challenge. I think with the space program, the biggest challenge was just the environment. You're at a place where there's ships going to planets, where there's all kinds of crazy things going around that don't seem real, but they are. And I think that was the magic of it, just to be in this magical environment and be a part of it.
Okay, and what has been the most fun part of it that you really enjoyed?
The launches. I love the space shuttle launches. When we had a space shuttle, I talk about the launches. So when you see this launch, I don't know if you're at the space shuttle. It looks like a plane, but it's got two rockets on it, and it takes astronauts to space. and it brings them back. It's called the space shuttle. So seeing the shuttle launches were the most amazing thing I've ever seen. So I think I have a radio on. I'm going to shut this thing off because I don't know if you can hear it, but I can hear it. So I'll be right back.
Sure.
Okay, that's better for me. I don't know if you could hear it, but I had an alarm set on the radio and it went off. So the big thing about the space shuttle launches is we're about 5 kilometers away from a launch pad. So if you can imagine, you're 5 kilometers away from a ship that's going to space. At 5 kilometers away, it seems like it's a long way away, but it's really very close. But you really can't see it and you really can't hear it because you're 5 kilometers away. So these things are so powerful and they weigh so much, have 3 million kilos of lift. What that means to go up, you have to push down with 3 million kilos. So if you get on a plane and you're going from a city to a city in Pakistan, you get on a plane, it goes to a runway and it stops. And they put on the brakes and they build power and they take off horizontally. This does the same thing, but it takes off vertically. But it's developing up to 3 million kilos pushing on the earth. So they start the engine, it's building power and it's trying to take off, but it's locked down and it's building power and building power. And you're kind of looking where it is, you really can't see it. But all of a sudden, you get a vibration in your feet. It's so powerful, it's literally shaking the earth. And so your body is shaking and all the cars feel it. They think somebody's breaking in. So lights are flashing, horns are honking, sirens are going off, and your body is shaking. It's just so amazing. And when this thing takes off, it looks like it goes really slow and it makes a turn and it's gone. And you're watching it and watching, you still don't hear anything. Then all of a sudden you hear it, but you're looking there and you hear it there. It goes so fast, it leaves the sound behind. So it plays mind games with you. It's just the most amazing thing I've ever experienced. And I love sharing it. When I do this presentations, I show movies and I talk about all this cool stuff. And it's much more fun when you can see it.
Okay, like I've seen the videos, I would say, like the rocket being launched into the space. That's the kind of scary to me, and I feel like that would be really a big noise, or that would be really loud. And like I was really curious that what about the people who are, there at the place, what will happen to their ears who are standing near to it?
Yeah, we're about 5 kilometers away. So at 5 kilometers away, it really doesn't hurt your ears. But it's a noise like nothing else. Once you hear this, you'll never ever forget it. And every time you hear it, you know exactly what it is. It's just some kind of banging, cracking, popping. I can't really describe it. But it's not only noise, it's also vibrations. You feel it as well as you hear it. It's really amazing.
Okay, that's really amazing and fascinating at the same time. So my next question to you is that what's the most exciting project you have ever worked on at NASA?
To me, again, I try not to signal one thing out as more exciting and more important than the other. The challenge to myself is to enjoy everything I do and to enjoy everything I do equally. The thing I like best, I try to take that same fun and everything I do. So for me, one of the things that was really cool with the Space Center, and I deal with roads and bridges and the infrastructure. And one of the things I deal with is air conditioning systems. So if I would go into work in the morning, they'd maybe say, hey, Gabe, a bridge isn't working, figure out what's wrong with the bridge. Or an air conditioning system isn't working, figure out why it's not working. So one day when I went in, they said, Gabe, you have to go to this building. This air conditioning system isn't working. Go figure out why. So I went to where the air conditioner was and I saw it wasn't working. And I thought, okay, well, what is this servicing? What is this cooling? And I talked to a building custodian. They took me inside of a building and there was a room. It was like a cube. And it was about 7 meters by 7 meters by 7 meters. And it was all glass. And inside on the bottom, there were some little cars running around. And I thought, well, what is this? So they were actually rovers that they were designing to travel on Mars. And they'd created a Mars environment inside this little area. And they were practicing how to drive these things around. So to me, it was super cool to see something like that. But that's the thing on Kennedy Space Center. You never know what you're going to see, and the simplest things can turn into the most exciting thing you've ever seen.
Okay, that's really great. So, my next question is that what does a typical day look like as a NASA engineer?
It's pretty much like an engineer anywhere, being it's not so much what you do as where you do it. So for me, a typical day for me as an engineer for NASA, a civil structural type of engineer, I might go in. Florida is a peninsula, which means it's surrounded by water on three sides, has a lot of rivers and a lot of lakes. And the flight hardware, the things that go to space, come to the Space Center on a train or by truck. So they have to go over bridges. So bridges are critical. If the bridges aren't functioning, you can't get the flight hardware to the Space Center. So I might go into work one day and they say, hey, Gabe, this bridge isn't working. Go figure out why. So I would go out to the bridge, talk to the bridge tender, the person who operates the bridge. Why isn't it working? What's wrong with it? How do we fix it? And how much does it cost? And so I got to do everything. I got to go to all the cool buildings on Kennedy Space Center. I got to go to the bridges. I got to go to the launch sites. Every day was exciting. Every day was fun for me. And every day of my life is that way. It really doesn't matter what I do. Today, I say to people, and I'll ask you, if you could pick one day, just one day in your whole life, and I said to you, what would be the most important day of your life? What do you think that would be?
That's a tricky question, I would say. The most important day would be the day I would have most fun without any worries or work or any kind of burden. I would just enjoy the whole day.
So, the most important day of your life is the day you are in. It's always the day you are in. And if you approach each day as you pass through it and you enjoy that day, just that one day, you're going to have a very happy life. Every day when we pass through it, we create our past and we build our future. So, if we have fun with everything we do, and it doesn't matter what we do, it only matters we enjoy it. And I talk about three things: do your best, enjoy what you do, believe in yourself. If you learn those three things, you'll never work, nothing will ever be hard, you'll never have stress, you'll never have pressure. You'll be very successful and have fun doing it. And this is the way I live my life. And it doesn't matter what I do, it's all exciting to me. And the sense of accomplishment is also great.
Okay, it's really great to have this kind of conversation with you, especially having you like you're really like optimistic kind of a person, and I feel like you can boost someone's day really well. Like the way you're, like communicating, that's really amazing.
Yeah, it's fun. I really enjoy it. And it's for me, it's always easy. Speaking with you, I don't have any difficulty speaking with you. I love your smile. I love your enthusiasm. You're fun to speak with. So I enjoy this tremendously.
Thank you so much. So my next question to you is that now it's the world of AI and robotics. And so what role does AI and robotics plays the role in your work, like on daily basis?
Yeah, so right now, my right now what I'm doing is I'm traveling around the world speaking at schools. I've been to Pakistan 3 times. I've really enjoyed my time in Pakistan, and AI for me it isn't part of my daily life so much. Right now I'm focusing on going to Brazil next week, so I've got to get my tickets, I've got to get my visa, I've got to get all these kinds of things. I've got to make arrangements. I'm going to be in 10 cities in 30 days, so that's like three days in each city. So there's a lot of different things. AI might be a positive way to organize it a little better, but I'm not really getting into the AI so much. I'm still trying to learn how to adapt it to what I'm doing. But I know it's a huge part of the transition to something new. But I just always remind people, people are most important. Whatever benefits AI gives to us, it will be because of people. And we never want to forget how important it is to learn to get along. But it's interesting. AI is such a thing they're talking about now. But about 15 years ago, they actually took a robot up to space on the space station, and this robot was doing the things that astronauts would have to do over and over. So they taught the robot to do it, so the astronauts would be free to do other things. So in a sense, that was the AI 15 years ago that's led up to what's happening today. But it's ever evolving, and I think it's evolving so fast, maybe we can't even keep up with it.
Yes, I totally agree with you. My next question to you would be that what's something most people don't really know about space missions?
Uh, I don't know. I think for me and for people who've never been there, I think we feel what would it be like. We try to imagine what it would be like, and I don't think we can imagine it without experiencing it. But when we talk to the astronauts, the astronauts love going to space. They love floating around. They love being in this different environment. I think probably the biggest thing in speaking with astronauts who've been to space is how they feel looking down on the Earth from space, how they realize how really small everything is compared to the solar system and the universe, and they get a whole different perspective on life. And they're only about 400 kilometers above the Earth, so they're not really closer to the stars or anything. But we get above Earth's atmosphere, and the astronauts say the stars are much clearer. You can see different colors, different sizes. So they love looking at the stars. They love looking down at the Earth and being part of this solar system that is so amazing to us that we really, for me, I'm not an astronomer, but I like astronomy, and I have a lot of friends who like astronomy, and they talk about a light year as a term. A light year's distance. It's not time; it's distance. And they talk about a light year, something being a million light years away. One light year is 10 trillion kilometers. So you multiply 10 trillion by 1 million, and you have this huge, huge number. I don't think my engineering mind can't fathom what that is, but it's fun to think about it. And I think that's probably the biggest thing people don't understand, the vastness of the solar system, of the galaxies, and of the universe.
That's really fascinating, I would say. So, do you have any stories from the astronauts that visited the space and they came down and told someone? I'm also really curious that I have listened to some speeches of the astronauts who went to the space, and like I have read somewhere that when astronauts come down, their mind is sometimes like totally numb, and they can't really feel something, and they have to stay in a while in a quiet place for some while. Is it true or not really?
Not true. I think at the beginning of the space program, when astronauts went to space, they brought them back and they isolated them. They didn't know the effects of space, and they weren't sure what would happen, so they isolated them for a week. But they've learned to overcome that now. And actually, one of the biggest issues with going to space, when you're in space, everything is weightless. Nothing weighs anything. So you never use muscles the whole time you're in space. So if you're not using muscles up in space and you're up there for 6 months, when you come back, you won't be able to walk. You'll have no muscles. So it's critical they exercise every day. And they exercise for about 3 hours every day. A lot like we do on Earth. They have a treadmill, they have a weight machine. Nothing weighs anything. So when you see them doing like weights, it's actually hydraulics, it's liquids. They're trying to compress liquids. Liquids don't compress. So when you see them doing that, the liquids create the resistance to build muscle. So it's really important they stay physically fit for the 6 months. Usually they're up to about 6 months. And people probably don't understand that. Something else that's interesting, because of gravity on Earth compresses our spine, when we actually go to space, we grow a little bit. We may grow a little bit, about this much. Our body actually expands because gravity isn't compressing our spine. Most of the things that happen in space, sometimes vision is bad because of the way liquids go through your body. But when you come back down to Earth, everything reverts back to the way it was.
Okay. So, my next question to you would be that have you ever had a mentor at NASA who changed your perspective?
Uh, Not really. I think, by the time I got to NASA, I had been had many jobs and had been experienced in life, and I pretty much decided what I was going to do, and I just followed my own path. I think you learn from everything you come in. Before I got to NASA, I was struggling in school, and I really didn't know what I wanted to do. And I met this one guy, and he had just come from university, and he was a civil engineer. And to me, this person, he really didn't have very much going for him at all. And I looked at this person, and I thought, if this person can get through university, I can get through university. So in a way, he was a mentor for me, but in kind of a strange way.
Okay, that's a great kind of motivation, I would say. he didn't even know that like he's like a mentor to you in that way.
Yeah.
So my next question to you would be that you know that there are a lot of myths that there is life outside the earth as well. So do you in your perspective, do you think there is life other than in like in other planets as well, or not really?
Oh, I believe there's life. I think there has to be life. There's millions of planets in the universe and millions, and there has to be something somewhere. I don't believe it's been to Earth. I think if it had been to Earth, we would know. I don't think something's going to come from, a million light years away, come all the way to Earth, turn around and go back. I think it would make contact with us if it could get here and have that intelligence to get here from someplace so far away. I think it would definitely make contact. I don't believe it's been here because I think we would know. Many people believe it has. Some people say they were walking around. Ship picked them up, took them up, examined them, and brought them back down. And, I don't say they're wrong. I don't believe it's true, but they believe it's true. But I think it exists. I just personally don't think it's been to Earth yet.
That's great. And what are your future goals? What are you looking forward to do further?
So my goal is to try to speak with as many students around the world as I can and to try to give you an opportunity to understand you have a choice in life. Kids around the world, and it's no different in Pakistan. I've been to 18 countries, and the most amazing thing I've learned with these 18 countries, we are exactly the same. Not similar, we are exactly the same. You can take kids 8 to 10 years old in any country around the world, the look in their eyes, their smiles, the way they interface with each other, they are exactly the same. It's so amazing to me. I say you could take 20 kids from 20 countries, different language, different dress, different cultures, put them in a room, they will get along fine. They are exactly the same. They will figure it out. So I think it's really interesting to see that. It's really sad that outside influences pit us against each other, have developed distrust and insecurities and start wars and all that kind of crazy stuff when realistically and I talk about India and Pakistan because I go to both countries, and to me both countries are the same. The people are the same. There's no such thing as an Indian person or a Pakistan. You are the same people. You started out the same way, and you are both super smart, super kind, just so much fun to be around. But yet you don't get along as countries, and it's really, really sad because I know the kids would get along perfectly, and because you're the same. And so, to me, the biggest thing is how can we overcome this hatred and all of this mistrust and really just learn to get along and help each other out. That would be my goal everywhere I go. When I go to India, I talk to the students in India, the teachers. If I can fix you up with a school in Pakistan, will you let the kids talk with each other? Everybody says yes. When I'm in Pakistan, I do the same thing. I talk to the teachers. Will you let me connect you with a school in India? Will you let the kids talk with each other? And everybody says yes. And to me, that's the only way we're going to initiate change. The people, the elder people, they're set in their ways and they're not going to change. But if we can get the kids talking and the kids to understand, hey, they're just like me, I don't have to mistrust them and learn to get along, everything will be so much better.
Okay, so we have already learned a lot from, especially I have personally learned a lot from you in this interview. So, lastly, is there any advice, any life lesson that you have learned so you can share with me and also with my audience?
Yes, of course. I talk about three things. These three things are really important. Just remember these three things. Do your best. That's pretty easy. No matter what you do your best. Challenge yourself. How well can I do it? It doesn't matter what happens. Feel good about your effort. Enjoy everything you do. You can find positives in everything if you look for them. And if you can't find a positive, say to yourself, it could be worse. Then it becomes a positive. Never have a negative experience. And most importantly, believe in yourself. Very, very few people believe in themselves. It doesn't matter how rich they are, how successful they are, they just don't have that belief in themselves. That's why they have stress. That's why they have pressure. And the way you get that belief in yourself, you establish goals. Usually things start with a dream. You take that dream and you write it down and you say, this is my goal. And you ask yourself, what steps do I take to achieve it? And plan very small steps. The smaller the step, the easier it is to accomplish. The easier it is to accomplish it helps you develop that belief in yourself and that confidence in yourself. And you want to build that very, very slowly. Don't be in a hurry. You build and you build and you build, and one day you say to yourself, I can do anything. When you believe you can do anything, you will never have stress. You will never have pressure. You just go do it because you believe you can. And when you enjoy it, you do better. So this is always my message, just those three things.
Okay, thank you so much once again for joining me in this podcast. I really, really enjoyed having a chat with you, and I hope so you enjoyed it too. And my questions didn't make you bored.
Oh, you never make me bored. Don't I really don't like the word bored. I never say bored. I enjoy speaking with you. I enjoy the look on your face. I like your smile and your enthusiasm. It's been a pleasure for me to share this with you.
Okay, thank you so much, everyone, for watching this podcast. I will see you in my another podcast with a new guest. Till then, Allah Hafiz and goodbye.
So goodbye, everyone.